Hey guys, it's Os with ASM Auto. How you doing? Finally making this tool haul video. I know it's been a while, but anyway, let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's start out with the big one. I got another scan tool. This is the Autel MaxiSYS 2 Elite Pro, or Elite Pro 2, something along those lines. I think it's brand new, or it's their newest scan tool, and it basically has all the programming capabilities of pretty much all the other high-end Autels. So comes with, of course, the unit itself, which is now updating. You've got your OBD2 connector, and we'll check this out real quick. Oh, and by the way, killer deal on this. I got it off the Autel site itself for $1,937. They're running 5% off, and it's already like $500 off. So if you were looking to get a high-end Autel that can do programming, now's a good time to check out their website. And this thing, let me tell you, is awesome. So there's the J-box right there. And of course, it also doubles as a wireless dongle. So you don't have to be connected unless you're actually doing programming. And then accessories, pretty basic. It's kind of hard to do with a camera. Give me a second here. Alrighty, so inside we got our power cord. I think that's all that is. This is where the OBD connector goes. This is actually a flexible, small inspection camera. So basically, you can actually use the Autel as a screen for a high definition small inspection camera, which wasn't even listed. So the fact that it comes with it is actually pretty cool. That's got a camera in the back. It is not the scope version. As some of you may know, I have the Snap-on Zeus, which is a 4-channel scope on top of everything else. So I don't need any additional scopes. That'll get the job done. And then under here, it's kind of basic stuff. So you have the connector to the cigarette lighter. Then you have an adapter for that, which has the the 2 leads for connecting to your battery. You've got your USB cable here. So this is what you have to plug into the where is it? To this guy right here, your J-box technically, or your VCI, Maxi VCI as they call it, when you're doing programming, because you want to have a secure hardwire connection for that. And what's amazing about the Autel, for those of you that don't know it, is basically they've written all the software. So like if you need to program something, say like a BMW module, instead of messing around with like ISTA Plus or those open source software, if you work at an independent shop and not a BMW dealer, this thing basically does all that for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about versions. You don't have to update all the third-party apps, or I should say programs like Java that it has to work with and make sure it's in the right files and all that crap. Basically, you just plug this thing in and you say you need to program it, and then it walks you through the steps, which are all pretty logical to begin with. You just have a secure power source, a reliable power source. So you connect it I use our Snap-on battery charger for that. So we keep the voltage at 14.2 volts. And then of course you have a hard connection to the J-box, which then goes to the OBD2 port for programming. And then finally, you just need to make sure you have an internet connection so you could download the right information, the right manufacturer codes to basically program a module to the vehicle. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't even opened some of this stuff yet. So this thing is the temp kit from Power Probe. I think I'll probably open this later because everyone's seen this already. I saw a great deal on National Tool Warehouse where it was like $30. Most places are now selling this for like $40, $45. But I saw this kit with an extra probe together for $30 off of nationaltoolwarehouse.com. So there's a little tip if you don't have one of these and you have a use for it. And we've done a lot of AC work this year. I have just the basic thermometers you stick in the vents. I've known about this. I finally decided to take the plunge and step up my temperature reading game. So I'm going to save this probably for probably last maybe, because this is actually a really special tool that I want to talk about. So another thing is I was at Harbor Freight and I had almost pulled the trigger on the Chief, which is a rebrand of these. These are the bolt busters. Bolt breakers. Sorry, the bolt buster's coming. These are the bolt breakers. There's the part number. This is Mayhew. So from what I found out, Harbor Freight doesn't warranty these, Mayhew does. So even if you buy it from Harbor Freight, you still have to go through Mayhew. So I was like, why would I pay $10 more when I can get these off of Amazon for $20 instead of $30? I still got the lifetime warranty and I can just deal with Mayhew directly, which is usually not that bad. So I finally got the bolt breakers. I've just seen too many people come up with creative ways of using those that I was like, I got to have that in my arsenal. So this actually, ironically, I bought before and then I traded it in for the regular light because I didn't think I really needed it. But I kind of missed having it because like the intensity of this is so good. And Snap-on just had a sale where it was like, I think it was like $30 off. Anyway, my dealer had a great deal and he had just one of these. So I finally pulled the trigger on it. It's the ultraviolet work light, and so it comes with the light and then also the glasses. Like I said, most people have seen this. I don't think I really need to open it up, but yeah, it's a good light, and you know, there's the part number. I mean, it's an incredible light, really. It's probably the best UV light you can get. It's super bright. Maybe I'll show that off at some point. The light I had before that was just a Streamlight pen light. Well, honestly, which works just fine. I'm pretty sure this is true UV as well. I think they're both 450 nanometer wavelength. So I think true UV, but anyway, yeah, this has been really good, Streamlight, and it mostly works. I mean, you can find, you know, like when you use the dye in particular, it's even when you don't, it's really easy to find like the PAG oil leaks through your, you know, through your AC system. But yeah, this guy is like super, super intense. So like you can pretty much spot all your leaks like immediately in an engine bay with that thing. All right, so here's another one, Bolt Buster. I know everyone's seen this too. It's like, these aren't new tools, they're just new to me. I finally pulled the trigger on one of these because I've kind of like gotten, it was actually a particular job that I just was really frustrating because it was like, it was near the charcoal canister and like I couldn't use a torch and like the damn bolts were breaking. And it's like, if I had this, it would have made it so easy. It was like, you know, a 20-year-old car that somebody inherited and they were trying to revamp it. And so they had a failed solenoid like in the canister area. So I had to remove a bunch of stuff that hadn't been touched in 20 years, and that basically I ended up snapping the nuts off, which were welded to a plate. I ended up snapping them off with my air hammer, and then, you know, basically extracting the rest and just replacing it with brand new hardware, which is a pain in the butt. So this thing might have, like, they weren't in great shape anyway. Probably would have replaced them, but this thing might have saved me some effort had I had it. So I saw a good deal for it on eBay from a reputable seller called Arctic Tools that I've bought from before. They are totally legit. They are excellent. They have great prices and they ship things. I thought I read they were in Alaska, but somehow like they must have warehouses in the, you know, in the somewhere down here because they seem to get tools to you like within 2 days. It's like, it's remarkable. But anyway, that's where I got this from, and it was by far the best price. So for the Bolt Buster, and you can pretty much see, again, like it's going to look exactly the same if I open it up. It's got all these adapters. You know, you can actually make your own shapes, and then you've got shapes that fit standard bolt sizes. And like I said, then you can make your own on top of it. So basically the Bolt Buster obviously is the original thing. Now there's like a Venom or whatever, but this is the original made in USA still product that'll, you know, basically heat up use electromagnetism to heat up a bolt. So if you're in an area that you don't want to spark, you don't want a flame, this thing is a godsend. And a lot of times this is actually just more convenient because you can target exactly what you want to heat up and you don't have to worry about like a slip of the wrist or something. You know, granted, you know, when you're using a sparkle wrench, you should be a professional, you should be careful, but this thing kind of eliminates human error, which is very, very cool and nice. And we finally, still made in the United States. And we finally got one in our shop. So I look forward to using that in the near future. Okay, now this is the thing I really am excited about talking about because it's kind of a cool thing that my Cornwell dealer has been filling me in on what they've been doing differently, or at least what they're now doing that they haven't done in the past. So apparently Cornwell hired a guy that used to work at a manufacturer or something along those lines. And he has like connections to all of the like OEM suppliers, like tool suppliers, to the automotive manufacturers. And so this is a tool that was previously only available to manufacturers. It's made in Germany, as you can see. It's been rebranded by Cornwell because this guy that they hired, like I said, has relationships with all these manufacturers, whether they're in Europe, United States, wherever they're at. And so he is now working on behalf of Cornwell to bring basically manufacturer, even assembly line tools to the automotive aftermarket. And this is the first of those. This is the only universally approved crimper you can make your own basically wiring harnesses. You know, you can put the pins on the end of wires. You can do regular crimps. You can do pretty much any type of crimp. And this is actually approved by the manufacturer. So you will not void a warranty if you were to build, you know, basically rebuild a connector using this crimper. And so what it does is it's true parallel. So for example, the other ratcheting crimpers, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So even the traditional ratcheting crimpers, I mean, we all know the hand crimpers, we've all got them. But the traditional ratcheting crimpers that, you know, have become popular, where is it? It's buried under here somewhere. Oh, I wanted to talk about these too. So I will talk about those shortly. So like this guy, which is pretty much identical to the ones, you know, the one you'd get from Matco and probably a couple others. So if you look at this crimper, and this is an excellent crimper, I've used it a couple of times. A lot of times I'm just too lazy and I grab something that's definitely not approved for the assembly line, which is, you know, your standard hand crimper. But this thing is not true parallel. So, you know, it has one part that ratchets, that goes down, and the other part you grip, and it kind of like ratchets together. So it kind of like comes down on an angle. So it's not a truly parallel crimp. Whereas this thing is actually truly parallel. And the way it works is these dies basically connect. You open it up and it connects into these slots, so you have the die sticking straight forward, and then it does basically a perfect crimp. Again, good enough for the assembly line for automobile manufacturing. And then now when you do these crimps, especially with like data lines and data connections, I think a lot of you guys, especially the dealer techs, probably already know this, but you actually don't want to use solder because solder can increase impedance. So this thing is actually a substitute for solder if you use the right type of, obviously if you use the right type of connectors, with it. So, and at some point, Cornwell is going to come out with a comprehensive connector kit to go along with it. But in the meantime, it's like you can find them on Amazon. You can actually get them from the manufacturers, from the dealers, et cetera, et cetera. So you can get all the pieces now. Eventually Cornwell is going to come out with a kit to complement this. So this is like brand new. This is the first example of this. There's others. They're working on bringing other tools. But I figured, as somebody who takes pride in my soldering, I thought this would be really cool. And I have run into situations where it's just impossible to find a pigtail connector, and so I've had to get creative. And so this will solve that problem. I'll be able to make basically, equipment, manufacturer, or I should say, automotive manufacturer quality connectors, myself. And especially if you can reuse the housing, that's even better, because then literally you can just depin it and if you have to, put new pins on, and then repin it, and you're good to go. So here is that must be the part number, WEZLC6. All right, also I got as I have an old Jeep YJ right there. I just replaced the fuel pump actually on it, and I ended up replacing the fuel lines. I replaced the worm gear clamps with stainless steel ear clamps. I fixed an ABS issue. Believe it or not, it's a 94 with working ABS. And cleaned out the fuel tank and the skid plate underneath, and then also that pad that goes between them. Pour 15 and Rust-Oleumed everything. So yeah, fuel system good as new. Jeep is happy. Anyway, for doing brake flushes on it, I got this adapter kit from, it's actually made by Power Pro, but they're really nice, for doing, for the master cylinder. As you can see, there's the end that connects to your air. And then this basically, because it's a two cap master cylinder, or reservoir, I should say, at the top of the master cylinder. You got two caps. That one closes it off. This one has the connection. And they work perfectly and flawlessly. Before that, I had to use a stupid chain on my YJ with my own equipment, and I hated that thing. It didn't work very well. But just in case we get some of those weird, and again, probably because of my disdain for the chain, I also got this universal brake bleeder adapter. Basically, that's what it looks like. That's what it is. There's the part number, Matco Tools. UBB A246. You will see this exact tool on YouTube, branded probably under the OEM brand. But anyway, just a couple of brake things. And also wanted to mention these. So I was lamenting how to Joe, you know, one of my employees who's been in videos before, that I always seem to like pick the wrong size heat shrink. Like I tend to undersize, and then I have a hard time getting it over the stupid butt connector when I use one. Because I like to use the unshielded butt connectors and flow solder through them. So he was telling me like the Ford stuff is actually really good because they use the same size for, two of these are the same. For the different butt connectors up to a certain size, it's all the same heat shrink, and the heat shrink is made in the USA. I'm not sure who the OEM is. I'd like to buy more of it. But anyway, I got these little packs. A couple of them I got from the Ford dealer, and the other two they didn't have in stock, so I got from Amazon. Believe it or not, Amazon stocks all of these. And what it is, it's a little kit of pre-cut heat shrink, along with it's like 5 pieces of heat shrink, 5 butt connectors. They're a few dollars a piece, not very expensive. But apparently this made in USA heat shrink, according to Joe, does a better job of shrinking to smaller sizes than, you know, something comparable out of a like a Chinese kit like this, which would be pretty much comparable to your Harbor Freight. This is a good brand. So yeah, apparently the shrinking properties of the Ford version are very good. And again, like I said, this is actually a Ford product made in the USA. So check it out. I haven't had a chance to check it out myself, but I got a few of these in just to try it out. And a quick PSA for you guys that own the Insider ratchet. Don't forget to warranty these 2 adapters, the 3/8 and 1/4 inch. So basically, just Google it. Milwaukee has updated their adapters. So you fill out like a warranty form about this, and they will send replacement adapters that actually will not come out of the ratchet with a socket. So these are the 2 replacement adapters I literally just got, and they replace these. Let's see, haven't had a chance to, obviously I'm just opening. Just got these now. Let's see if the part number is the same. So this part number is 1668. This is 1661. There you go. So it's clearly not the exact same thing. Clearly it's not the same part, and it's probably the same story with this. Let's see, 1660, and this is 1667. Ah, so it's actually kind of clever. It has a, this is the part that retains the, your adapter in the, you know, in the Insider ratchet. So basically when you're putting it in, you just turn this. So what you can do is you just put it kind of like, get it lined up in one of those grooves, and you can turn it, and then you can push it in. And once, yeah, so that should be good. Then once you shove it in, see, it locks in the back. So basically it's not going to come out because this actually extends beyond the opening. But if you want to take it out, you just push it back like this and then through, and it goes right through. Pretty easy. Pretty easy, pretty cool. All right, guys, I will catch you soon. I actually have a little project where I took something that started out as a cheap Chinese piece of equipment in our shop, and I've rebuilt it with USA components. So it is now a hybrid, high-end USA, low-end Chinese item, and I'm going to show you that in a few days because I'm waiting for something to show up so I can make my final modification. Other than that, I will catch you soon. Take care.